brought to you by SMART, bringing people together, and the Belize Bank, our country, your bank.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm April Martinez.
And I'm Paul Lopez.
And good morning, Belize. Thank you so much for joining us on this lovely Monday morning. And of course, as you can see, we have some guests.
Yeah, we start the morning right.
Very right.
You know, talking a bit about history and a very important historical achievement that our national women's volleyball team accomplished on Saturday night inside the Civic in front of a jam-packed stadium full of fans.
How did it feel to be a part of that fandom, Paul?
Oh my gosh,
Yeah?
I was there for the reporting, but I'm a Belizean first.
Of course.
As I heard a lot of the announcers kept repeating, we're Belizean first, we're Belizean first.
Yes.
I'm a Belizean first, and so for the entirety of the game, I put my reporter hat aside and I was just cheering on. I was loud, and I mean, it was a moment to witness in person. And if you weren't there, well, we have some special guests on set this morning to basically recount the entire experience and talk with us a bit about how that experience felt and the hard work that went into accomplishing gold, volleyball gold, national volleyball gold in Belize for the first time in our history. And so we have our lovely guest on set. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning. Of course, we have Coach and Profe with us, and then our two-star players, Ms. Avianca and Ms. MR, joining us in studio. First of all, ladies, congratulations.
Thank you.
And I mean, they just wake up, right? So they didn't get this up. But how do you feel? I know that's a very cliche question, but how do you feel after this?
It still feels unbelievable, but I think it was well-deserved, the gold medal.
I feel very proud to be a Belizean and to win gold for the first time. It feels really good.
Coach, you have been with this team for how many? I don't want to ask how many years he has been pushing volleyball in Belize, but as a coach that has been pushing volleyball for the better part of 30 years, how do you feel now?
Well, the prof is the coach of the team.
Correct.
I mean, obviously, I coach for many years, and I've coached many national teams in the past. But I think I'd like to start off with that. You know, the girls did an incredible job on the coach. Like when we were talking just now, it was in dominant fashion. We didn't lose a set. We've been close at least 3 times in the past 4 years. So we were hoping, and I think this group of girls pulled it off. It's been something that's been growing, like I said, you know, every time there's a development that comes with this step by step. And I think the girls did an excellent job in making that final big step going from silver to gold.
Yeah, I want to talk a bit about this week's performance in terms of the statistics, because not only did they win gold, but they did so in fine style with a perfect score, like you said, undefeated, no set lost. That's every game you go in, you dominate. Basically, you give your opponents no opportunity to even consider coming back, because you're down 1 set, all right, you're down 2 set, we're in trouble. You're in the 3rd set and you realize that Team Belize is way up and has the advantage, then that kind of creates or takes away from the opponent's momentum. Profe, is that what you're hoping for going into a competition? That level of dominance? Yeah. You can speak it. You can speak in Spanish. That is fine if you understand the question.
El nivel de superior que estamos teniendo en el torneo es que estás esperando.
Primero estoy muy feliz, ¿eh? Happy.
Yeah.
Happy.
Yes.
Lo más importante fue lograr un equilibrio, balance emocional en nuestras jugadoras que pudieran enfrentar el estrés de esta competencia. Es lo más importante en estos torneos. Y lo logramos en Belice, en nuestro país, ¿no? Porque ya lo sentimos también como acá. Es very, very importante.
Well, he's just saying that there's a level of balance, strength, coordination, hard work. You have to very, very much concentrate. That those are the key elements that he instilled in his ladies in order for them to win all 3 sets.
Thank you for your translation, April. How, ladies, I want to know from you all, how is it that you maintain your focus on the court in front of this large audience? Clearly, everybody is making noise, shouting loudly, blowing horns, waving flags, and yet you all seem to have had this zero-in focus where all that were in front of you was all that mattered. How is it that you're able to do that?
Well, for me, in some moments during the game where I have to just come in spontaneously, I don't really know when exactly I'll come in sometimes. Like in the game against Guatemala, the main setter, Zayan, she got hurt and I had to go in and try and finish off the game. That is a pretty nerve-wracking situation, but I feel like once I'm on the court, all that matters is my teammates and making sure that we work hard in order to win this point.
And for you?
It's really important to stay mentally strong. Our coaches always tell us to mentally prepare from before the game starts. So that's something we also take into consideration. And there is, the pre-game nervousness. Like, even when you're on the bench and you have to go in, like I have to go in to serve sometimes, but the nerves kind of disappear once you're on the court. Like, it's just a different feeling.
I mean, there's no way you could train for a crowd like that, because this is what it is on game night, right? It's not like
only in Belize.
And only in Belize.
Only in Belize we have this level of fanhood.
Yeah, you always talk about that,
Yeah.
and you've traveled across the region, perhaps outside of the region, and you're saying that you've never seen fans like Belizean fans.
No, I mean, I want to thank the fans very much. As you know, we were on many shows begging, asking the fans to do their part. They definitely came in, did their part. But just to answer the question briefly, Nicaragua is the only next country that really fills their stadium. But their stadium, even though it holds about 8,000, you don't get the energy. It's not the amount of noise. It's not the amount of energy. They're a far more quiet group than us. But we make it a lot more fun. Even the next team, even Guatemala wants to come back and play.
Yeah.
Nicaragua wants to come back and play.
Patriotism when it comes to Belizean fans, like we understand what it means for the girls, but what it also means for us. So ladies, I have to ask, when you size up your opponent and you're looking at them, what is it that you're strategizing in your head? What is it that you're looking for in her?
Well, a lot of the times before games, Profe, he'll send us like a message of like different strategies that we'll use against certain teams. Like for all the games he'll send, we need to have a tactical serve, or we need to serve to a certain position on the court because that's where the weaker passer is, or maybe we do faster plays in order to catch the other team off guard. So a lot of our strategies comes from Profe before the game.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, and I'm trying not to get too technical or into plays, but I really appreciated how defensive we were in some of the trick shots that they tried to bring against us. And it seemed as if we were always aware and alert to pick up on those, but at the same time, like Zion, for example, was able to always see where those openings were, and when they think that we were going to set up play to spike, for example, Zion would always be able to find those openings and make those trick shots, and I think that speaks to strategy as well. But Mr. Sharp, let's talk a bit about how significant this gold is in terms of the history of volleyball in Belize. You mentioned earlier that we've been playing regionally and internationally since 1990, and this is the first time in Belize's history that we've ever secured gold. What does it take to get to this point, or what is it about this specific team that carries this level of strength and now respect to earn gold?
I think, everything like in life is step by step. You have to walk before you can run. And in 1990, when the male and female national team went to the Central American Games in Honduras, was the first time they really officially went out. They had done some other tournaments, but this was the official. And since then, it's been growing. And then in the 2000s, we got, well, in the 1990s, the male team did well. In the 2000s, it started to grow. In 2012, thereabout, we got third place in a tournament, and we kept growing. And then in 2018, 2017, 2016, we brought in the Cuban coaches who were then full-time coaches. And the first time we moved to full-time coaches, both Cuban and local. And then that started to grow. And then, you know, it's kind of a mindset, because you can win bronze. You work hard, and then you think you have it, but then it's like a bronze and then a silver. And it takes that mental, it's more mental than anything else. But with this team in particular, this team, remember, was here, played last year in the U19 here. This team has been together younger. We train now, the profe is now training girls from much younger. They're coming together much younger. So that has been a major difference compared to teams of 10 years ago, 20 years ago. These teams are starting much younger. They're playing internationally much younger. Having the profe with all that capacity, all that knowledge, like Avianca mentioned, strategy. You know, before we just kind of played. Yeah. Now there's a lot more strategy that we have. But we also have a very special group, and I'd like Belize to appreciate that. This team is very special in many ways. Apart from being together for so long, it's one of the biggest teams we've ever had. So if you noticed in the first game against Nicaragua, who was supposed to be super strong, was actually the team we were really concerned about. We neutralized them because our height, our defense, our strategy made it even. And Guatemala thought they really had a chance until they met the height, until they met the defense, until they met our serve in real. Then they changed. It's like Mike Tyson, right? He said, everybody has a plan till they feel the first punch.
It's always it's something for Belizeans, and in any sport, whether that be football or volleyball, where whenever we play in Guatemala, there's always this calm before the actual storm. I know that fans were extremely excited when we basically obliterated them. But for you ladies, was that the team that you were looking at to beat?
Definitely, Guatemala is always the most exciting game to play. It's the most, rallied up to. It's the most promoted. And obviously the fans show out the most for that one. So it's where we really try our hardest to beat.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Profe about the different emotions that he goes through on the sidelines. Because when you watch Profe coaching a game, he's angry, at least he looks angry, he's throwing his hands, what's that? And at the same time, in the next play, he's clapping his hands and he's celebrating. If you would, Profe, talk with us about the different emotions that you go through and what that means for you and for the players.
Algunas de las emociones durante el partido.
¿Contra Guatemala?
Con todos los
all of them, but Guatemala
Es que siempre,
specifically.
es que necesitamos que nuestras jugadoras, la energía, impregnar esa energía. Creo que debemos empezar por nosotros y es lo que siempre mantiene a ellas un nivel bien alto. Y por eso siempre estamos exigiendo y nunca estamos conformes, siempre pedimos un poco más.
He says that the energy first has to come from them, the coaches, in order for their girls to continue to maintain that same level of energy on the court, right? So his emotions are being portrayed based on the way the girls play, but it's just to ensure that they keep their level up, right? Yeah.
Now let's go to the moment when you realize that you won. That final play, the block. They attempted to block the ball, but when they blocked the ball, actually went out. The realization came that, hey, we've won this one, we've won gold. Let's talk a bit about the rush of emotions that went through you all. Was it there and then that you all came to the realization, or was it when you all actually stood on that podium and you were cloaked with that gold medal or adorned with that gold medal around your necks?
For me, it was as soon as the last point finished, because our whole team came together and everybody in the crowd was cheering and we were cheering. And actually before the game, because I was in the same room as our captain Garrett, I told her, if you cry, I will cry as well.
And it's so said, so done.
Because we had been wanting this gold for so long, especially after, I think it was in 2021, where we had another chance to win gold against Guatemala and we unfortunately lost. But this time we dominated and we got it.
And for you, what was it like being on that podium, having that gold medal around your neck as you do right now, the confetti popping, and then you hearing Belize's national anthem playing while fans were around still in the stadium?
Even though it was my first time on national team, I've been playing for a long time, so I know like it was a long time coming. And it felt really good to win it, and especially on the podium, I felt like a lot of national pride that I'm a Belizean and it's our first time winning and I made it on the team. I just felt very proud.
Yeah.
What's next, ladies? What's next, Coach?
Well, right now there's more competitions to come. I think a lot of these players on the under 21 will move to being senior. Emma will definitely be on the U19 that's coming up. And we're hoping still that the U17 will be coming up as well. They kind of postponed that one. If it doesn't happen this year, it's happening early next year. But next year has senior tournaments, more underage tournaments, and this, depending on how the continental body puts in the calendar, we automatically qualify for the next U21 tournament in the continental region. So it depends on when they host that. They hosted some this year, so if they do another one next year, that's definitely us going there, and that's the one where the big teams show up.
That's outside of the region?
Well, that's the continent. So USA, Canada, Cuba, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, they're all there.
And we automatically qualified for that?
We automatically qualify by winning the gold. And then there's the Pan American Cup, which we can also qualify to. So there's a lot of volleyball left in the year for some of the players that can meet that age group. And we have next year still to come.
And that's a good bit of them, because we do have a lot of young players, and I think that's one of the key points to punctuate as we wrap up this conversation.
I can safely speak for all of us here in Belize that we are so proud, and we just can't wait to see how you keep this up and what's next in store for you, ladies. Congratulations once again to all of you.
Before they get to say thank you, I would like to give a thank you first to our sponsors, our diamond sponsors, platinum sponsor, bronze sponsor. I'm not going through all of them. There have been a lot. We still can do with funding. These bills are huge, but I would like to thank the people that helped the BVA to throw off such an event, the organizing as well. It's major, it's not easy, and we pull off the best Central American event. I mean, everybody says that throughout the region. If they were to vote, if the players were to vote, anybody's supposed to vote here and say, we have the best tournaments held here in Belize. We got to be proud of what we do.
All right. Ladies, any thank yous, final words?
Thank you to everyone who came out to support us in the Civic. The support, we always love it. We always love the energy. It's just, we love when the people come to support us during the game. And a big thank you to Miss Lupita, because the volleyball team, she makes sure that we have everything that we need. So this would not be possible without her.
It's the same thing, thank you to the crowd. Thank you to all of our coaches who worked all year round to train us, get us ready for these tournaments. So, yeah.
Profe, final words?
Agradecer a todo el equipo de trabajo, son muchas personas, agradecer a Lupita, agradecer a Alan la oportunidad que nos han dado para representar a Belice y aspirar a que sigan creciendo como deporte y poner en alto el nombre de Belice.
Perfect. Congratulations, guys, and keep it up.
Wonderful.
As the wave of Belize is obliterating through Central America through volleyball, we have to keep up with the weather updates, because I think we have a couple of waves coming our way as well.
Indeed.
Here's that weather update from the National Meteorological Service of Belize.
Great transition.
Conditions are becoming less moist and less unstable over our area, and generally fair weather is expected today. The 24-hour forecast is for cloudy skies with sunny breaks today and partly cloudy skies tonight. Showers or thunderstorms will be isolated, except for a few more developing inland after mid-morning and over the south tonight. Winds over the open sea will be from the east to southeast at 10 to 20 knots, and the seas will be moderate. Maximum temperatures today will be around 87 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 92 inland, but only 79 degrees up in the mountains. The outlook for Tuesday and Tuesday night is for mainly fair weather with only isolated showers or isolated thunderstorms. There is a high tide at 10:14 this morning, a low at 5:35 this evening, another high 11:39 tonight, and another low at 4:48 tomorrow morning. The sun rose at 5:29 this morning and will set at 6:29 this evening. The moon sets at 6:37 this morning and rise again at 7:57 tonight. In the tropical weather outlook for the North Atlantic, the Caribbean Sea, and the Gulf of Mexico, tropical cyclone formation is not expected during the next 48 hours. With that, we end this report from the Belize Weather Bureau.
And of course, thank you so much to the National Met Service for that update. And of
More
course,
rains?
It is. More rains forever for the rest of the day. But of course, Paul, it is Monday. And
is.
so what we do here every Monday is that we bring you the eye on the news.
You know, April, I am super happy that we were able to start on a much lighter note this morning's show, because there's a good bit to talk about where politics is concerned in Belize and the political landscape. On Friday, the leader of the opposition, Moses Shine Barrow, spoke to the media, or faced off with the media after last week's historic defeat in Toledo East. The United Democratic Party was pretty much obliterated by the People's United Party at the polls. The leader of the opposition, in his press conference on Friday, congratulated the newly elected representative, Dr. Osmond Martinez. He thanked his supporters for coming out. He thanked basically all his standard bearers for showing up, the elected representatives, though the fact remains that he and Hugo Pat were the only two elected representatives that were present. We had Patrick Faber was absent from last week, Wednesday's election day events and activities. We also saw that Tracy Panton, another elected representative, was not there. There's explanations about why Tracy was not there. Apparently she had undergone a surgery and she's recovering from that. Not much on Patrick Faber's end as to why she was not there. And so that's basically how the leader of the opposition set the tone following in terms of last week's Friday's press conference and the party's defeat. Now, how does this defeat weigh against the opposition's strength in terms of them moving forward as a viable opposition? Well, let's look at the numbers, April. The People's United Party was able to garner 70% of the votes, secure 70% of the votes that were casted.
Yeah.
This is historic in that in all the years of this constituency being in existence, no candidate on either side has been able to secure 70%. In fact, history will show you that this seat has been one of the hotly contested seats in general elections, while on the other end, the United Democratic Party's candidate was able to secure only 24%. Well, here's another historical fact. No candidate on any side of the aisle has secured such a low percentage of votes, and so it's a historic win,
but
as well as a historic loss.
And the Toledo district in general is kind of a an anomaly when it had for the past 5 years because they have a strong independent party.
Yeah.
So Will Mejia's, hot toss in the race, definitely took away some votes from either side of the party. I'm not saying insignificantly, but I'm just saying that 24%.
Will Mejia has constantly contested this seat.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's why I said the Toledo district. I always like to look at them because they do have that independent party. And I did want to make mention of that. And the next thing that made this particular election quite historic is that Monkey River, that is a predominantly UDP area, went blue for the first time in like 30 years.
So in his press conference, and that's a huge point to make, and it speaks again to the question of whether or not the United Democratic Party at this point can be considered a viable option coming into the general election, and I'll touch on that a little bit. But the leader of the opposition on Friday basically said that they helped thousands of Toledo East constituents leading up to this by-election with basic needs. So whether it's utilities, school, medical, food, whatever supplies they needed, thousands. But the leader of the opposition suggested that the People's United Party had an advantage because they are the current government, right?
Yeah.
He suggested that they basically spent 3 times what the opposition spent, and he went on to assert that in some way, shape, or form, taxpayers' resources was involved. They're used in this. Listen, when you are on the ground in these events, it's all about machinery. It's all about what's happening on the ground on this day. It's all about the energy. It's all about how you're mobilizing your teams.
Well, you were out there, Paul.
Yeah.
So you know and understand what the feeling was like for voters at that time.
And what a by-election does, Sabrina, like
April.
this. It's April, sorry, my apologies. April, what a by-election does is a by-election helps you to, especially in one constituency, helps you to focus in and zone in and really pay keen attention. And what we saw on the ground was, especially in Bayou Vista, where I spent most of the day, this is where the largest population of voters are concentrated. What we saw the energy under the United Democratic Party's tent withering away slowly and slowly throughout the day, while the People's United Party kept their energy up and kept going. So the big question here is if this victory in Toledo East, if it will have any implications in the upcoming general election, if it has anything, implications on the national political level, right? That's the main question here.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. The Prime Minister and the leader of the People's United Party, same person, he is in his glee right now.
Well, like we've been talking about the opposition, what they've been saying about this election. We've also been talking about what the current administration is like right now. And at the end of the day, it just seems that the UDP still has a lot more to go in terms of uniting their party.
Yeah, that's definitely a part of it. But allow me to just finish this point. It's the fact that the leader of the People's United Party, who's also the Prime Minister, sees this as a mandate, from Toledo East. But he also views it as a mandate or as a fact that the People's United Party remains popular after 4 years. And this will be a part of their campaign strategy going into the general elections. The People's United Party and the leader of the People's United Party will use this win every moment they get to remind voters that we won in Toledo East, the residents have confidence in us, and guess what? you all should have confidence in us as well. And so it will be a part of the cognitive, the psychological strategy of the People's United Party going into the general elections.
We will see when the Prime Minister does call for elections in 2025. And even with the confidence, he did not give a statement as to if he's going to call it early or not.
He has.
Right? So we're going to wait to see when that happens and how they campaign. But Paul, we also have one more topic before we wrap up our eye on the news.
Yeah, and so while we're talking about the strengths of the People's United Party and the weakness of the United Democratic Party, there's some issues in the camp right now because Elvia Vega Samos, who was recently voted out and is technically what some would refer to as a lame duck era representative in terms of her position right now. But so a convention was held, as we reported, and Thea Garcia Ramirez won that convention, and so Elvia Vega Samos basically took to Facebook social media over the weekend and she blasted her party. She made several assertions that one would suggest are questionable and are worth looking into. So she took to Facebook and she basically said that she was never given a level playing field. She asserts that she had limited authority to give jobs, to give out jobs. So this is one of the things that voters look for in their politicians. We are vote for you, but we need some jobs. If you could put me at this ministry, if you could put me in at this body, in at that board. She asserts further that she was undermined when it came to development funds. So she was not given funds to develop her community as an era representative. She also she pointed to the fact that she was the only sitting era representative that contested a convention. So she aired out everything on social media. She took her assertions further to suggest that Mexicans, people come from across the border to vote in this convention. People from other constituencies as well, people with no IDs, and that people were being threatened, her voters are being threatened to lose their jobs. Now these are some serious allegations.
Where have we heard allegations like these before?
I don't know, where have we heard allegations like these before?
It's very interesting, Paul, that you know, one of this particular convention, I think we were also keeping a close lookout for because at the end of the day, it was two women going neck to neck. You had, for example, you know, Elia Vega, who sat next to Honorable Dolores Balderramos Garcia as her state rep.
Indeed.
And of course, Thea Garcia Ramirez is the niece of Dolores, so of course she would not, you know, comment or anything like that because she wants to be as objective as possible. But there were so many different layers to this particular convention that I had my own questions as well, but you know, I'm not a voter of Corozal Bay, and it didn't sound like the supporters were creating any kind of scandals and so forth. So this is the first time that I personally am hearing of all of these
let me wrap this up by saying that the People's United Party, her very own party, wasted no time in responding.
Of course.
So I don't know where she sits currently with the party, but they wasted no time in responding because the party did not hesitate to point out that it was the National Executive Committee that made a decision on her contesting a convention, basically saying, that the National Executive Committee, bro, that's a part of the party. So technically it is still you. They argued that the candidates had a say in finalizing the voters list and that both candidates signed off on the voters list, and that's the list that was used for the convention. And they flatly denied that any Mexicans or outside of the country, outside of constituency individuals voted in this convention. The big question here is, where does Elvia Vega Samos now stand in the People's United Party. She has a term to fulfill, to finish. But moving forward, who will really be the area representative in Corozal Bay? Because you have on one hand Ms. Tia, she is campaigning. So
She was in PG. I saw her when they were doing
right,
the
she was there.
by-elections,
So
yes.
will the resources go to her for her campaign? Will resources go to Elvia for her to finish her term? And this is where the division lies, and this is where it's completely evident, and perhaps there's some questions that needs to be
Well,
answered.
we will be
in that
keeping a
regard.
close eye on this, but to wrap up our eye on the news, you know, it's not really an eye on the news topic, but we did want to just make sure that every Belizean is aware,
aware.
and we've been talking about it. I believe you guys had a story about persons fighting about this particular topic.
Yeah.
It is official that President Joe Biden has stepped down from his presidential campaign.
Yeah.
So he has withdrawn from the election race. He's no longer going to be running against Donald Trump, but he has also not just withdrawn from the election race, but has endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign. So he is backing her up to be the next president of the United States, to be the head of the Democratic Party. You know, he of course has to finish his presidential term. We are hearing a lot of chit chat from both sides of the aisle. Whatever your feelings are towards this particular presidential candidate, you know, we wish him all the very best.
Yeah.
We are yet to see what is going to happen now that he has endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris. I know everybody is excited about this type of this election, particularly with Kamala Harris potentially being the head of the Democratic Party and potentially being the next president of the United States. But the Republicans have been playing a completely different ballgame.
Yeah, indeed.
You know?
So just to wrap up that, April, my only input is that from the political standpoint where the Democratic Party is concerned, there have been calls from within the party for him to step down, and those calls grew and grew over last week into the weekend, having influential figures like Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama are supporting that call. From the presidential side, he says that he will finish his term, and that's what he'll focus on. As you said, he's endorsed Kamala. And from the personal side, this is technically a grandfather. Whose cognitive...
They're both grandfathers.
Right, but there were concerns for his cognitive strength.
Yes.
And the fact that seemed to have been deteriorating rapidly. And so definitely it's agreed that he needs the space and time to recover.
Well, we are going to keep our eyes on this particular election race because, as we have said time and time again, anything that happens in our diplomatic region, it definitely affects us. But that does it for our eye on the news. Of course, you can catch details of this and more on our 6 p.m. news tonight and on Facebook. That does it for our eye on the news. All right, it has been a very busy Monday morning, Paul, but we have a jam-packed show lined up for you all. And of course, we're going to start off our conversation with our friends from Apamo. They are going to be in studio to talk about, of course, the controversy that has been happening between them and the government of Belize.
And then our second conversation, we'll be talking to the author of the Dean Barrow story, none other than author Lawrence Vernon.
And of course, we are going to be talking in our third conversation to Miss Briah Clarke, and she just got herself a basketball scholarship to Wilson College.
And fourth, finally, last but certainly not least, we'll be joined by Shalwa Leslie, the owner of Farm to Perfection, to talk a bit about what she's been up to.
Lovely, but we got to take a quick break, and when we come back, it's all about Apamo and their controversy with G.O.B. Don't go away.
My name is Leomar Langsert, and I'm a teacher, and I bank with Belize Bank Independence Branch. What I enjoy is the safety features that the app offers. I have a sense of not having to worry or be concerned about somebody finding my password and username to sign in the application because of the use of the one-time password. And another feature that I love, that I use the most, is how the app synchronizes with my fingerprint on my device. I enjoy the rapid and easy, seamless process to apply for loans through the Belize Bank, and I don't have to be having too much back and forth to visit or take time to visit the bank. They also start to offer the online applications through the app for loan applications, which I believe is very neat. I would definitely recommend Belize Bank to other teachers because one of all the features and advantages that the app offer. With these online that Belize Bank offered is basically everything that you can do in the palm of your hand. So I would definitely recommend the bank to other teachers.
Remember, not all light bulbs are created equal. Our lighting department offers a wide assortment of light fixtures and accessories to suit your style. So stop in today and get the right illumination for your homecation. And don't forget your B-Box when you make a purchase. Benny's, quality and savings.
1,067,700 slices of bacon are eaten by tourists each year, stimulating our local economy. Tourism means business.
It's the return of your favorite Tuesday night entertainment. KTV The Remix Season 6 is here. Join us for an exciting night and a chance to win fabulous prizes. Plus compete in our halftime challenge. Get your tickets for just $5. Available at Channel 5 and Coney Drive and 88 Shopping Center. Can't make it in person? No problem. Watch it live on Channel 5 or stream it on Facebook and YouTube. The fun starts at 8 p.m. at the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. KTV The Remix Season 6. It's hot, it's live, and it's only on 5.
And welcome back. Joining us for our first conversation. It's all about Apamo, the Association of Association of Protected Areas Management Organization. And of course, there has been a little bit of contention between yourselves and the government of Belize. But we have in studio with us Ms. Amanda Acosta, and she is the chair of Apamo. And good morning.
Good morning.
And Jose Perez, who is the executive director of Apamo. Good morning.
Good morning.
Before we go into the contention, let's give a bit of an overview of Apamo. We have already PAC, who is a statutory body and so forth. Where do you all stand in this sphere?
Yes, and I think indeed it's very important to know who Apamo is. But good morning to you, good morning to our viewers, and we appreciate this opportunity to shed some light and some clarity, especially in regard to why we're here or what the issue, which is legislation. But Apamo, as you read, and sometimes I know it's hard to remember, the Association of Protected Areas Management Organizations is a network, it's an umbrella organization made up of non-government organizations that manage protected areas, both marine and terrestrial. Very diverse in its structure, very diverse in its composition. We have from what we categorize as the larger NGOs to the smaller ones, but all with one mission: to undertake the noble work of protecting the forests, protecting biodiversity, protecting the air that we breathe, the water that we drink, And more so, recently we've heard the whole topic of green and climate change. Carbon, both green and blue carbon, very, very important at the national level, at the economic level of the country. Apamo was established in 2007 as an advocacy organization. But what has been our approach over the last years has been a negotiated approach to engagement with government, which has gone pretty much well. We sit in committees, we sit on boards, but we found ourselves recently having to come out and publicly because for some reason we feel that there's a little bit of distance and tension in our relationship. So that is where we are currently, and the chair will elucidate a little bit more.
All right. So contention implies that there is some kind of bickering, and I don't think that's necessarily always true. I think it's more of a disagreement in process, which implies that it's coming to the table and having an active conversation. Apamo's concern is that there is proposals to change or revise the National Protected Areas System Act as well as the PAC Act. So those two pieces of legislation were substantively revised in 2015. They are not perfect. They do need work, and we were kind of actively waiting for an opportunity for this conversation to be had. However, the conversation hasn't happened, and we then have received the draft of what are the proposed revisions, and we feel that it requires more work still. It has additional pieces now that we don't think are necessary or perhaps support, for another way of saying it, and we would like to have that conversation.
One of the questions that we normally put out to any of our political leaders that would come on the show is how do you measure industrial progress while still keeping ourselves sustainable, green and blue, because Belize has this, this reputation of being very progressive, but also 60% reserve land. We have our blue economy and so forth. And there is this particular nuance of it will all sort itself out. Does Apamo feel that way?
I think what we have is fabulous. I think what we have is a great number, if you want to call it that. I do think, though, that active management is not present everywhere. And so we have to be real about that. I also think that protected areas, we often have this misnomer that it's enclosed and you can't touch. And that's not necessarily true either. I think some of your larger, more visited destinations in the country are protected areas. And so it's how do we manage those protected areas? How do we actively protect or again, it sounds repetitious to say that you're protecting it, but how do you conserve the values that are there? Be it tourism value, be it carbon value, be it the fact that it's aesthetic value, because some places just are beautiful and you have to appreciate it for what it is. So I think it's one thing to designate, but it is another thing to have active management. And in our case, Apamo, the 16 members that we represent, have active management on ground. To Jose's point, we have different sized organizations, from the small to the very large NGOs, such as Belize Audubon, where I work, but we do have Miss Maria Garcia, who represents Itsamna, who has been on the news recently talking about fire. Yeah. So the role that the co-managers play is significant in that management of those natural assets, because you can't just say they're protected and leave them on a side. We have to do active management.
I remember visiting the Doneligio Panty National Park that Miss Maria Garcia works before the forest fires, and even getting to the national park itself, even though it's not even like a mile of road, it was quite difficult. And they only have, I think, about 6 rangers that can actively protect all of that land.
This is the opportune time to mention what we've seen, the increased threats to these protected areas. And again, what the co-managers bring are boots on the ground, eyes on the ground. It'll never be enough, but what we've seen is a lot of incursions into these protected areas. The boundaries suddenly are changing. People are stepping up now with titles to land within protected areas. Our colleagues at BNN the other day were in the media questioning what is happening at the Manatee Forest Reserve, a very important protected area to continue the corridor of the Maya Forest Massif. Our colleagues at which manage the Five Blues Lake National Park are also very concerned that they see on a daily basis forests being removed. So the threat is there, and that is what the co-managers bring, the eyes on the ground.
I want to be clear for our viewers' sake as to what the issue is, right? Because that's where you kind of finish your statement before April asked her first question. I hear us talking about co-management and boots on the ground. Is that the issue? I don't want to assume that our viewers understand exactly what we're talking about.
So the issue is the change in legislation. So the government has taken a very top-down approach where they've presented us a legislation of which I think the assumption was we would say, okay, that's great, and that's not necessarily how this should work. The Association of Protected Area Managers, like I said, the 16 NGOs, that boots on the ground represents 277 to be precise. I think last time I averaged it to about 280, but around 277 people's employment and $16 million that goes into the system that is managed by these 16 entities. And that is not, we have to be clear, that is not PAC substantively. That is additional. So PAC represents anywhere from 4 to 5 million of that 16, and the rest is all fundraised, either through grants, through multilaterals, or also through infrastructure that has been put in through the sites, and that there are fees associated. So entrance fees, camping fees, those kinds of things. So the real issue here is that we are asking for an audience. We're asking for a dialogue with the government to mention this, and actively saying we are contributors to this system. And so we have a right to a voice, and it needs to be heard.
So what does this top-down legislative change look like in practice?
So the National Protected Area System Act has several components to it. I think if I can kind of lump our concerns into 3 big buckets, for lack of a better way of saying it. One is that there is duplications, in that there are pieces of the legislation that directly overlap with PAC. And there are sections that, and we have written an extensive 7-page letter to the government outlining this, and it was a month ago, and we have yet to have an acknowledgement of the letter's receipt. We have yet to receive any feedback as to what is the process, how will we proceed, how will our concerns be accounted for. So there's some degrees of duplication. There's areas that will have direct contradiction, like we don't know who will be responsible because they are traditionally, for instance, roles within the Forest Department that now they're setting up a biodiversity commission. And so it's a case of who do we report what to. The second concern, which we would put the lump into, is financial. There are elements in there that talk about all finances, all fees, everything has to go into PACT, but yet there is no mechanism of how you will get it back. And again, I will say this, I have been in this industry for 15 years, and there has been a constant conversation that all that money needs to be accounted for, that 16 million needs to be accounted for. I understand accountability, but there's many ways to do accountability. For instance, you can have an auditor who comes in and addresses accountability and in the integrity of what we're doing. I think there have been comments recently as to our accountability and our integrity, and I will say, if you receive donor funds, or if you have ever received donor funds from a multilateral or from any donor, you must report. It is considered restricted funds. You have to say.
There are mechanisms in place.
There are mechanisms, and PAC has mechanisms, and PAC has actually internationally recognized mechanisms. So there was an alluding to the fact that, for instance, we're not accountable. We are very accountable, actually. It is a fact that maybe the government wants us to report how we are making the extra money that we contribute to the system, and that will require a system. However, it does not have to be that what we collect goes into PAC and PAC somehow gives it back to us.
Just a point of clarity also. Especially like it was alluded in the comment from the ministry last week in response to our press conference, that it seems as though what is being said is that there's a new strategy being put in place for monies to be invested into protected areas. A new strategy was put in place and established in 2019. So from 2019, PAC moved from grant making to investments through a new strategy. Okay? Actually, in 2023, a second strategy, or the continuation of a strategy, was launched, but we're still here waiting on the monies to be.
So if I'm understanding correctly, where the second issue is concerned, there's questions about accountability, financial accountability, and so this new structure seeks to have those funds go to PAC. And then PAC basically is the authority or the trust that then decides how that money is distributed, basically for conservation efforts in Belize. Does Apamo have any body or group collaborating with PAC or sitting on a board with PAC to have a say?
So PAC has a board, and PAC's board is majority government. So we need to be clear on that. PAC does have others, so I sit, me personally,
on that board.
I sit as the rep, as for Belize Audubon Executive Director, I sit as the rep on the PAC board. However, one of the things that we have requested from the ministry for 2 years now is that there is a seat for a community-based organization, so a smaller NGO. Recently, I've heard a request that there should be also a marine and a terrestrial. So in other words, there should have been an additional, because we represent 16 NGOs, but there are 21 in total. So that adds up.
But don't these rules and regulations line up with the NGOs Policy Act that was trying to be pushed, I believe, last year or so forth, when the president of the NGOs Association came out and said we need to revise this. Is this a part of that as well?
But just important to note, just a little detail. As is, the PAC board composition should include a community-based organization. The issue is that we appointed one, or we nominated one, but up to this point it has not been appointed. So basically, these community-based organizations have been kind of disenfranchised for having a voice on the board.
What would that voice do to basically shift or strengthen oversight where this board and these finances are concerned?
In a board, you look for representation, so it would have additional representation. I can speak as to my realities as a larger NGO. I can't necessarily, well, I try, but I can't necessarily always speak to their realities, and I think that is why you look for representation on these boards. There's tourism and there's also academia, so the board is structured that way. So we've just asked the
And it would
minister.
make sense because most of our protected areas are surrounded by small communities that in large do their part without government interference. They try to assist and protect the areas as best as
Are
they
these
can.
organizations in agreement with basically transferring their funds for PAC to manage?
So they're varied in size, so that's part of the issue as well. So we have to divide the composition, if you wanted to think of size-wise. You have small NGOs that you're talking 5 to 8 rangers managing $250,000, maybe less per annum. Then you have medium size, which have anywhere from 12 to 18, and they have about $1 million budget. And then you have the large NGOs who have anywhere from 40 to 50 staff within the institution, and they're managing up to $3 million annual budgets. So the reality is that we have contributed a significant amount of energy, effort, resources, training, and continuity, because the NGOs are the continuity. Remember, you can't work in political terms when you're talking conservation. You have to talk long term. And we also work with our buffer communities. Sometimes the smaller ones are based from those communities, and the larger ones have mechanisms of addressing. So for instance, Yakshte has a very robust agroforestry sector. If you saw, they were in the news last week talking about a $1.7 million US project that they're working. We work with the government. It's not that we don't work with the government. We're just saying we need to be at the table, and we have to have a conducive environment for us to continue securing these fundings. The comment that we have to leverage. So PAC's own assessment of the last CIS, Conservation Investment Strategy, that ended, it was 2019 to 22, roughly showed that based on the size of the NGO, they leverage every dollar that they get. So if they gave them one, they were able to get one more. The large NGOs were leveraging up to $3 for every dollar that PAC gave them. So PAC is not the sole source of income for the protected areas. And so we are saying, and again, given the volume, the number of staff, the number of time that we have worked in the sector, we have gone through cycles. Everything is cyclical, right? So we have seen what works and doesn't work. So we feel that we have active contribution to make.
CEO Williams definitely responded in our last week in the newscast. Have you all had a conversation with him since?
No, that was Friday, I believe.
Yes.
So we haven't had that conversation. But I do think there is a lot of room for a lot of conversation, and I think he did flag that there was some errors in terms of how communication has been done. And so that is what we're hoping to rectify. Again, it is about the process. If you recall, a couple months ago, there was an entire workshop on the Iskazu agreement, which talks about how you are to engage and how you are to participate. And we just are holding ourselves and them accountable to use those mechanisms of not only informative sessions, but in this case, this is an active dialogue.
You spoke about a third issue. I don't know if you could retract your train of thought to get to that.
So the first, just to summarize, the first is no top-down. We need active dialogue. The second was that the funding, we needed to make sure that we're not competing amongst one another with PAC, the government, and also how they see the funding being addressed. And then the third concern within the legislation was that it was not really allowing a conducive environment. It had several elements that were seen more like micromanagement. There was a request that we must that we must submit our opening hours. All activities that happen within the park must be pre-approved. We've been managing the parks in the case of Belize Audubon for 20 years. That's totally unnecessary. We have submitted we are required within 1 year of signing a co-management to submit a management plan. The management plan outlines all of these. You are also, as per your co-management, if you have a tourism infrastructure plan, you are also to share that with them. So they have all that information. There is no need to get into minutiae.
Mr. Perez, why do you think there is this level of demand for or this sort of micromanagement at this point? It suggests that some sort of untoward activity, as if there needs to be greater oversight over these organizations under Apamo. What do you make of this? Why this is happening?
We still have, I think we didn't mention the new office that has been established, the National Biodiversity Office, which has been given the mandate to oversee protected areas on behalf of government. That mandate has been moved from the Forest Department and been placed in that office. This legislation also will give that office teeth. It will make it legal. Currently, it just exists by cabinet go-ahead. And I think that's where it lies. That's where the crook of the matter lies. I guess it's relevance. Apamo has been doing this for many years, for decades now. I think that is where the conflict comes in.
Okay. I was listening to Amanda speak about, having a seat at the table, the resources, the funding, and of course, the quote-unquote micromanagement of it all. And all I'm here thinking is, I can't recall if many of us, or you, Paul, or our viewers, have been to like the San Antonio Falls that falls under the area protection, or Guanacaste Park, where you pay like $2 to walk the trail, Blue Hole National Park. All of these different places that should be available and open to the public, because at the end of the day, protected areas belong to the people, right? So wouldn't it be beneficial for the government to open the doors to the public to have a say as well in what takes place in these particular areas outside of the NGOs?
Well, I wouldn't doubt that. I think in the case of the NGOs, we are trying to create some of those enabling factors. So for instance, again, you speak to what you know. Belize Audubon Society has created local advisory committees with the buffer communities around each protected area. So for instance, in the case of St. Herman's Blue Hole, we have Armenia Ringtail, St. Margaret, and so we have local and Institute of Archaeology. So we try to bring the stakeholders together quarterly to have a meeting to discuss those any kind of burning issues or any matters at hand.
And just to wrap up, when it comes to managing these particular areas and so forth, is there enough manpower as well?
No. The answer is no. Okay. The reality is that even though we talk about $16 million currently being put into the Apamo co-managed sites, it is still very deficient. The reality is that in some cases that is basic operations, and in some cases that's not even basic. I think the larger NGOs are comfortable saying we're at basic, maybe slightly above. However, everything impacts, right? So if we talk about cost of living, we talk about having to have fair wages, we talk about all of those things have to be considered in the management of the protected area. And so the fact is that whatever limited budget we have to consider all of the other factors.
So what's the next step from here moving forward for you all, and is there any alternate reality in this situation where this actually opens doors for more funds to be pumped into your efforts?
Before the chair responds, I just want to make a little bit of clarification, because I think the public, the general viewers might get a different impression on an NGO. You mentioned an NGO and the people. Just with Apamo itself, with 16 members, 10 of those organizations are actually community-based. It's actually the people from the surroundings that make up the board of directors. They are the ones that work at the parks. So the community are involved. No, there's no separation. So that's important to note.
That's good to know. Yes. So where next, and is there any reality where this new structure actually opens doors for greater funding?
So the structures that are being proposed do not have any real implications on the funding, other than to say where it is supposed to go or not go. And like I said, if accountability is the goal, there's many ways to have accountability. It does not mean you have to touch the money to account for it. There's the whole accounting field is based on audits and those kinds of things. And we do audits every year, and some of us post it on our website, so it's public knowledge. The reality is that I don't think it will open any new doors to those necessarily. I do think that it is it's a conducive environment you're trying to create, one where we can actively fundraise. We are, again, doing this as a service on behalf of the people of Belize. I don't own any of the parks necessarily that, for instance, Belize Audubon, most of the co-managers don't own. There are private protected areas additionally to that. So the reality is that we are doing this on behalf of the people of Belize. We are substantially fundraising gap funding that the government doesn't have. So like I said, the government has the $4 million. This is part of the tourism product. This is part of, for instance, in the fisheries management. So we work actively with Coast Guard and the Fisheries Department. So we have all of these things already happening. Again, is it enough? Probably not. We need more. But the reality is that the next steps are we will continue to advocate for that seat at the table, talking about what is the best conducive looking piece of legislation, and we will continue to be that voice.
Yeah, well, this is a great conversation.
Yeah.
There's so many more questions to ask, and I could see 100% why this is a hot button topic, especially where funding for these projects are concerned. It speaks to the longevity of it and who's actually touching these funds, and questions we may have to those persons that will be touching these funds. You know, it's a lot of questions to ask where that is concerned. But we want to thank you both so much for coming on set and bringing some clarity and information to this very important issue.
Thank you too.
All right, Paul, but we do gotta take a quick break, and when we come back, it's the teen Barrow story.
Yeah.
Written by Lawrence Vernon. Don't go away. Here.
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how, when, and where we work. Full-Tech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customers' experience. Full-Tech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
Snackers chips are more than just a snack. They're a proud product of Belize. Sourced from corn grown in Cayo's lush valleys, then crafted with care and packaged to perfection by Belizeans. When you choose Snackers, you're choosing the taste of home and flavors you'll love. Snackers, done right, done here.
MacNav Visual Strategies, where creativity meets business. Step inside our world of innovative visual solutions. From captivating graphic design to expansive wide format productions, our services are tailored to bring your vision to life. Experience the impact of our high-quality signage and billboards, embroidery, promotional items, and professional paper printing, all designed to elevate your brand's presence. Every project reflects our commitment to creativity, quality, and client satisfaction. At MacNav Visual Strategies, we transform ideas into visual realities. Get in touch today.
It's the return of your favorite Tuesday night entertainment. KTV The Remix Season 6 is here. Join us for an exciting night and a chance to win fabulous prizes. Plus compete in our halftime challenge. Get your tickets for just $5. Available at Channel 5 and Coney Drive and 88 Shopping Center. Can't make it in person? No problem. Watch it live on Channel 5 or stream it on Facebook and YouTube. The fun starts at 8 p.m. at the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. KTV The Remix Season 6. It's hot, it's live, and it's only on 5.
This plan, I can't leave this plan. Smart Belize!
Hey there, smart thinkers. We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning-fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a lone ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
I know I can't let this plan. I can't let this plan.
Welcome back to, this is our second segment for this morning, and I have a book in front of me that I'm sure many of our viewers are looking forward to take a peek in. Well, guess what? I got a sneak peek before every one of you, right? So you could be jealous if you want. This is the Dean Barrow story by Lawrence Vernon, and we have the man himself on set with us, Mr. Lawrence Vernon, to speak with us about his latest project. Mr. Vernon, good morning and welcome.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
I haven't been here since about 2017. This is
Really?
my second visit here.
Wow.
I was here for the launching of the narrative of political parties in Belize.
Yeah, and you've done quite a number of other works or publications
in between about 4 or 5
then.
books since then. Yes.
Yeah, we have to bring you back more often, man, because you do some great work.
But the most recent one was the Philip Coulson
No, the most recent one was Compton Fairweather's biography. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I thought the most recent was the women, the one.
Oh, the why.
Why? I thought that was the most recent.
So that means there have been a lot of publications that advertise Mr. Vernon.
Well, they're commissioned, right?
Yeah, they were commissioned. Right? I expected that the principals would have advertised it, marketed it.
This one is your most recent one.
Exactly.
Right? Now, let's talk a bit about what inspired you to venture down this route.
Apart from my admiration of the Dean Barrow's character and his achievements, several, I wouldn't say several, but 2 or 3 books have been written of the past prime ministers. One was George Price by Godfrey Smith, and Manuel Esquivel's wife wrote a biography, his biography, and Said Musa did his own autobiography. So I say, why not have a biography of the 4th Prime Minister, Dean Barrow? I don't know who will be writing the one about the 5th Prime Minister.
That's perhaps some time down the road.
Yes, yeah.
Now, go ahead, go ahead.
But it's good that we have 2 Prime Ministers surviving, Said Musa and Dean Barrow, whose biographies have been written. So, as you said, maybe down the road we'll have the 5th Prime Minister. Yes.
Right, with the 5th Prime Minister. Now, let's talk a bit about what goes into writing a biography like this. As you mentioned earlier, it took you 2 years to really see this project come together to its final form.
Yes. Well, I must say, first of all, that this book was not commissioned by Dean Barrow. It was my own initiative.
Okay.
And he concurred that I write the biography. And so I sat with him a few times and got his input. And this is the result of it. What goes into it? The research, of course, which I have access to the National Heritage Library. Having been a librarian, I knew where to look in the newspapers to find out things about Dean Barrow's character and achievements, and I also had access to the archives. And the actual, I must say that as a librarian, I dwelt quite a lot in providing information, because quite a lot of people don't realize that in a library you just maybe see somebody sitting at a desk, but in the background you know a lot of things go on. And during my tenure as a librarian, I emphasized the fact that information must be disseminated, and we might know the information ourselves, but we know where to find the information in the library. So I sort of had that advantage of doing research and finding the information.
You sat down with the former Prime Minister, as you mentioned. Were there certain key aspects of his story and his life that you wanted to glean from him, or that you found in those conversations?
Well, it's just mostly his political life, because as you know, he's a barrister, but I was emphasizing mostly on his political life, and he did emphasize quite a lot on certain aspects, like the Caribe, the Venezuelan Petro-Caribe thing and things like that, and the taking over of the utilities, the BTL and things like that. So
it's interesting points in his career.
Yes, and I elaborated quite a lot of it.
So this book is more of a political analysis of Dean Barrow?
I wouldn't say so, because as I said, I have his early life, his education, his marriages, and his achievement as a barrister. Mm-hmm. But of course, as a three-term political person, you had to
emphasize. Right. Because I'm looking at some of the resources and the references, and a lot of it comes from newspaper headlines, yes, different magazines, and so forth that he would have been in, because he was a part of the media, no? So a lot of the information that you gathered was on these primary sources.
Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm. But you didn't analyze the sources, you were just taking out from what you understood.
Yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. And you know, in writing in writing a biography, it's different from writing a history book. Right. A history book is more didactic, and you emphasize dates and occurrences in history. But in writing a biography, I found that it's more like writing a novel. Mm-hmm. or fiction, okay. Mm-hmm. But you of course you can't tell lies. Right. You have to be accurate.
No, I look through some of the chapters, and I mean it really takes you through his life, doesn't
yes,
it?
Yes.
How many chapters?
Yeah, I see here. No, 32 chapters, with some final pages showing different things. But you take us from Hail and Farewell. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe you could tell us what the Hail and Farewell is.
I in writing a biography, most people would start out by just giving he was born and this date and whatnot. But to hold the reader's attention, I started with the last independence speech that he gave in 2020, September 2020. And that's where the Hail and Farewell comes in, right?
You go through the Venezuelan money revelation. We speak here on the gang phenomenon in chapter 22. That was a huge issue. We're talking here about owning the utilities, but when you switch down to some of the further chapters, we even have the Elvin Penner passport scandal in this one.
We had to cover all that because all that was involved during his tenure.
Yeah.
So it took you 2 years to write this. So you were in the library and in the archives every day.
Not every day, really.
That's a lot of information to compile in how many pages of this book? 282 pages.
Yeah. So have you given him or presented a copy of this?
Well, I'll be presenting a copy. He unfortunately he won't be able to attend the launch because he says he has mobility issues.
Yes.
So one of his family members will receive our autographed copy at the launch of the book.
What was his immediate reaction when you presented him with this?
Well, when I did a proof copy first, and then I passed it by him, and in a few days' time he passed it back to me with just a few amendments.
Yeah.
Now I know this is not an analysis per se, but as the author of this book, if you are to produce a brief analysis of his career based on your writing, how would you describe the man that was Prime Minister Dean Barrow, based on all the achievements, the successes, perhaps some of the failures as well?
Well, as I say, I followed his political career because, as I say, I know him personally, and during his political career, I sort of looked at what he achieved, and of course there were criticisms from certain factors, and I didn't find any real criticism from me personally that I could have seen. Okay. And maybe there was a bit of bias there, but
that's okay.
and I tried to put it as briefly as I could, but the book I expanded, of course, as you said, over 200 pages, and so we had to. As you said, April, I did not analyze, but I just put what was out there into print.
Was there any chapter that stood out to you while writing it? Any one of the chapters that perhaps was one of your favorite or most revealing that you're hoping the audience, you're excited for the audience to read and appreciate?
Yeah, well, I think the last chapter, it's titled Backlash.
Yeah, this is after he left office, demitted office, and there was a lot of questions to him.
Yeah, but there was a commission of inquiry. There was a commission of inquiry, and then the 11th Amendment to the Constitution, where they say that if you are a convicted felon, you can't serve in the House of Parliament.
Right.
And I have that quoted in the book.
Okay.
And,
all right.
Well, of course, that affected his son, so he elaborated on that.
Do we get a sneak peek of his son in this book as well? Following his footsteps?
Not really, no.
Okay,
no, that's another story.
But you are scheduled to launch this book on Wednesday.
Wednesday at 10 o'clock.
At 10 o'clock. Where is it going to be held? Is it open to the public to attend?
The UWI auditorium. Well, actually, we sent out invitations. Karen, who is my the events planner, sent out invitations and got the feedback of who will attend, maybe about 40, 50 people.
Will we get a book reading, a chapter reading, a page reading?
Well, in my remarks, I will.
Okay.
I will give a few quotes, maybe not a whole chapter.
Yeah. And thereafter, the book will become available for purchase.
Yes, actually, the printing was done at Angelus Press. I think they did a good job. So we'll have copies available at the Angelus Press and at Brody's and the Philip Coulson Highway, and of course from myself at home.
Yeah. And I think an invaluable piece of work here, Mr. Vernon. It definitely makes, encapsulates or makes it timeless, his story.
I mean, I know you said it's not a history book, but is it something that perhaps students and teachers can use for the classroom?
Oh, well, definitely. Yeah. It's not written academically. I try to make it as flowing and simple as possible.
Well, the Dean Barrow story will be launched this Wednesday, July 24th at 10 a.m. So get your copies afterwards from Mr. Lawrence or at
Angelus Press, Brody's, or wherever they
sell Angelus Press printed books.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vernon, for coming in this
Yes, it was my pleasure being here again.
Right, and we're gonna take another quick break, and when we come back, we're switching gears to basketball scholarship with our very own Belizeans coming in. Don't want to miss that conversation. We'll be right back.
In an ever-changing world, only a few entities stand as pillars of stability. Together, we'll continue to push boundaries and achieve even greater heights. And we're most grateful for the support of our customers.
Happy 29th anniversary, Courts.
Happy anniversary, Courts.
Happy anniversary, Courts.
Happy anniversary, Courts.
Happy anniversary, Courts. Courts, bringing value home.
This plan, I can't leave this plan. Smart Belize.
Hey there, smart thinkers. We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a Lone Ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
I know I can't leave this plan. I can't leave this plan.
It's the return of your favorite Tuesday night entertainment. KTV The Remix Season 6 is here. Join us for an exciting night and a chance to win fabulous prizes. Plus compete in our halftime challenge. Get your tickets for just $5. Available at Channel 5 and Coney Drive and 88 Shopping Center. Can't make it in person? No problem. Watch it live on Channel 5 or stream it on Facebook and YouTube. The fun starts at 8 p.m. at the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. KTV The Remix Season 6. It's hot, it's live, and it's only on 5.
Upcoming enhancements to My Social Security. The new healthcare provider feature seamlessly connects healthcare providers, insured persons, and employers to facilitate the payment of sickness benefits. Here are the enhancements. Registered healthcare providers will create and submit online medical certificates using their healthcare provider accounts. Insured persons will receive a link to view the medical certificate to complete and submit their sickness benefit claim. And employers will receive an email notification of their employee's sickness claim. Also, the insured person and their employer will receive a copy of the claim decision letter after review. Healthcare providers, insured persons, and employers are encouraged to create a portal account to access and benefit from these new services on My Social Security at ssbportal.org.bz. My Social Security online portal. Social Security at your fingertips.
My name is Waluko Mejia. I'm the General Manager at Copal Tree Lodge here in Toledo, Belize. The Belize Bank service we appreciate most is the Belize Bank ATM and the use of its debit card. It makes it very accessible for our employees here at Copal Tree Lodge. Essentially, they could access the ATM on their way home after work, and also that the local stores accept the use of a debit card.
And welcome back to our third conversation here on Open Your Eyes. We are joined by a very special young lady and her coach. We have Miss Briah Clarke, who is a basketball player. Good morning, Briah. And of course, Coach Darwin Leslie. Good morning, Coach. We are here. We were having a conversation previously before, and now we want to continue that. Let's first go into your career in basketball, Briah, and how it has led you to this moment right now. We're talking about a scholarship at Wilson College.
Well, I started to play basketball because of my mom. When I was younger, I used to go at all her games, watch her at the Old Civic. And when I was probably 5, my grandfather taught me a little before he died. And when I was 7, I went to the Belize Bank Bulldogs with coach, and I took it serious from there.
So you loved it from since you were little.
Yes, ma'am.
And how have you been improving your skills since then?
Just working out, training hard, going to the gym.
Coach, let's talk about how long you have been with Briah and her basketball career.
Well, Briah, I've been with Briah for, I would say, over 9 years, you know. Briah said 7, but I remember probably about 10 years old, I got introduced to her. And from then until now, for 9 years, she has been one of the most committed athletes, male and female. Since she was 10, she has excelled at all levels, you know. She has won in primary school, she has won in high school, she has won at the tertiary level at Galen. And I think everybody know Briah and everybody know me, you know. I think Briah is Belize's baby. And unfortunately, in terms of female basketball, we have not have a lot to show.
Indeed.
And we're at this point because we got invited to a point guard college basketball event in North Carolina. And I have a good friend in North Carolina, Doug Miller, that invited us to go there. We went there for 4 days, and Briah was involved in a point guard conference, and I was involved in a coaching conference at the same time. And so that's where we are now. But Briah has always been in basketball. The unfortunate thing is we don't have a lot of footage because we don't have a lot of games in terms of female basketball. So that was unfortunate, and that's why we're here now in terms of asking the public to help us in terms of assistance.
Where was the push to go and scout schools for Briah?
The push was my good friend. He came to Punta Gorda about 2 years ago. He was a coach also in North Carolina, and he went to do a camp in PG, and that's how we met. And I let him meet Briah, and that's where it all started. And he never forgot about Briah and me, and he invited us 3 weeks ago to go to North Carolina, and we took the opportunity.
So Briah, you visited different schools?
Yes, sir.
Talk a bit about the experience. How many schools did you go to? And let's talk about
I went to Lenore Ryan, that's in Hickory. A community college that's also in Hickory, and Mars Hill, that's where the camp was held. And then University of Asheville and Warren Wilson.
So Wilson offered you a partial scholarship.
Yes, sir.
Correct? To play with them?
Yeah.
All right. So the partial scholarship, as I understand it, it covers basically boarding, food. So you're taking care of the lodging logistics there and living expenses. But for you to truly realize this opportunity, there's a need for tuition funding, right? What would it mean to you to get this funding and be able to actually secure this opportunity?
Well, it would mean a lot to me for me to live out my dream playing basketball abroad. Also, I hope that it happens so that the country can put more time into female basketball so that I can't be the only one. They can also have other females that can go away and play.
And time is of the essence, correct? Because school starts August 19th. And of course, you need to get your student visa. You've already been accepted into the college and so forth. So you're looking to raise at least $24,000 for the year.
Yes.
Okay. And Briah, what would you be studying at
Environmental science.
Environmental science. So you're a plant green girl and you like basketball. So is this why you looked at Wilson as a prospect college?
Wilson focuses on that.
Well, that's what she wants.
It does, yes. What we found out is that Wilson major in the same thing that Briah is majoring. Like that is one of their biggest subjects there. So like everything worked out, and like I said, the school itself will deal with Briah student visa. They already told that like they will deal with that process. So it's for us to just
get the funding.
To get the funding for her tuition, you know. So that's why we said, well, let us come to the media, because Briah, she got accepted first, and this is very important. She got accepted first because of the great student that she is.
Right.
The GPA that she has maintained at Galen, you know. So that got her into all the colleges, you know. So I also have to say that she's been a wonderful student, you know.
What I think is important to emphasize here is that Briah is basically on a mission to trailblaze.
Yeah.
Right.
As you said, establish the foundation for women's basketball in Belize in terms of growing it and inspiring other young women to participate in basketball here in Belize, and this is a
you're
great
also
start to that.
making history, because this would be one of the first times that our female basketball players is receiving a scholarship to
I would say in a long time.
I
can only remember, if people could remember, I remember Tracy Garnett.
That's way back.
That's way back. You know?
Wow.
But like I said, everyone knows Briah, you know, and we're at this point now, and she's been accepted. That's the thing. The school already accepted her.
So if persons that are watching right now would like to donate, how can they donate to Briah's cause?
I think they can get in contact with her mom. You know, I know Briah know her mom number.
Yes, please.
Briah, can you please give your my number to all of Belize?
610-1077.
And what's your mom's name?
Sylvia Clarke.
Sylvia Clarke. 610
1077.
610-1077.
Yes.
Again, time is of the essence.
Time is of the essence. August 19th is when the semester begins, and we want to get Briah up there as quickly as possible, as safe as possible, with the funds secured.
Briah, what do you say to people right now as they consider donating and securing fully the spot for you? I know you're an athlete,
yes,
right? And a lot of time athletes tend to be lost for words, but let me hear you.
I would like to say, if you guys can please help me, this is history. And also it's like what you mentioned, a foundation, so other athletes can do the same.
Yes.
Any final words from you, Coach?
Yeah, definitely. I know that, like I said, Briah has put in the work.
Yeah.
You know,
and you've seen that.
Yes, we went there. You know, we got all this done, and as usual, you know, finance is usually our issue here in Belize, and we're reaching out to all organizations, private citizens, anyone who feel inspired by this story. Like I said, Briah is no stranger to Belize. Darwin Leslie is no stranger to Belize. You know, so you know, and I want to say this because about female empowerment, you know. We always talk about female empowerment, and I think this is a great opportunity for younger athletes, you know, and at the same time, I want to take this opportunity to congratulate the volleyball team.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we finally won gold, and you see, these things are a journey.
Yes.
People don't see the journey. They had a lot of athletes before these girls that went on the battlefield, and these are the girls, you know, that enjoyed the gold medal. You know, so I just want to say that Briah went on her journey. You know, we're on this journey together, and we're at the final destination. And anybody who wants to help, you know, and like I said, we talk about female empowerment, and this is a great opportunity for a great young lady to trailblaze. I mean, a very good student. She's been on Galen dashboard. She's been around the country. We pass and we look at those stuff, and Briah is on those stuff. Yeah. You know, so we would love to make this opportunity happen for her, you know, and like I said, anyone, private citizen, any organization, I think it's a great opportunity for a young lady to succeed.
Briah, you are 19?
Yes, sir.
19, yes, I gathered that.
Right.
You said you've known her for 9 years.
10 years. Yes.
All right, so 19-year-old Briah Clarke, right?
I want to say congratulations though, because you have gotten into this college, you have shown your success, and so we do hope that you get the monies that you need so that you can go to school. Thank you both so much for coming.
Thank you very much.
We are switching gears and wrapping up our Monday morning show with our final segment. It's Farmed to Table.
Farmed to Perfection.
Perfection. There you
All right.
go. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Biggest music and food festival to hit Belize and Central America is back, and boy do we have a mega 2-day event for you. The Belize Tourism Board, Mars Productions, the Alaya Resort, Niche, ECAT, the San Pedro Town Council, PAC, Border Management Agency, and Belican Ultra presents the Belize International Music and Food Festival 3.0, and it happens July 27 and 28 on the beautiful island of San Pedro. La Isla Bonita comes alive starting on July 27 with a mega concert. Get ready as we introduce and bring to you a sound of Belize. We call the Belize Brock Dung Roots Combo Band and the Belize Paranda Soul Combo Band. Backed up by some of Belize's best past and present musicians. Joining them is Belize dancehall queen Britney Starr. And top of the night we bring to you hit reggae superstar Carly Buzz. Dancehall's hottest artist, Mr. Bubblegum himself, Valiant. And to close off night one, we bring Jamaica's biggest sensation, Miss Hit and Run herself, Shensia. This all happens on July 27th, San Pedro, Belize, at the Soccer Chispas Field. Doors open 5 p.m. For showtime 6 p.m. Tickets available at BIMFF.BZ on the eCash wallet, powered by Belize Bank, or on the Quick Pass app on all Android and Apple iPhone. It's the Belize International Music and Food Festival 3.0, July 27 and 28, 2024, on the beautiful island of San Pedro. Sponsored by Belize Tourism Board, eCash, San Pedro Town Council, PAC, Niche, Belican Ultra, Border Management Agency, the Alaya Resort, Honorable Andre Parrish, Travelers, ICB, Digicel, Dolphin Production, Wine Smith, Angelus Press, Tropic Air, Modisco, Maya Island Air, Hits Media, Love FM, Channel 5, Courts, San Pedro Belize Express, Smart, and Channel 7.
Hey, move out my way. Me, I'm mad from my day.
I'm David Humes. This is Vanessa Humes. We own Littlefield Cool Spot. Belize Bank save us a lot of time. Working with them, we can keep track exactly what we spend. We recommend Belize Bank 100% because we don't have to go to stand up in line, and we can check on our account right from our house. Working with Belize Bank is the best.
It's the return of your favorite Tuesday night entertainment. KTV The Remix Season 6 is here. Join us for an exciting night and a chance to win fabulous prizes. Plus compete in our halftime challenge. Get your tickets for just $5 of available at Channel 5 and Coney Drive in 88 Shopping Center. Can't make it in person? No problem. Watch it live on Channel 5 or stream it on Facebook and YouTube. The fun starts at 8 p.m. at the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. KTV The Remix Season 6. It's hot, it's live, and it's only on 5.
This plan, I can't leave this plan. Smart Belize.
Hey there, smart thinkers. We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a lone ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
I know I can't leave this plan. I can't leave this plan.
Our fourth and final segment, thank you for staying tuned. And this one is all about Farmed to Perfection, a family business owned and run by Ms. Shawa Leslie. And so we have Ms. Shawa on set. And Ms. Shawa, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, it's good to have you
to have you
on
back.
set.
Yes.
Now one of the things, Shawa, is that I have to make mention of the fact that when you first started, we actually did a story with you when you were actually starting.
Yes, that's so correct.
This is the early days, I think 2 or 3 years ago. I just have to put it out there that we were the first.
It's been a long time. No, I was going to say it. Yeah. I was going to say thank you, Channel 5. We're back about 3 years or 4 years later. Yeah. But yes, you guys did the first. Paul, you were there. You got stung. You took it for a team. It was wonderful.
You never wear a beekeeper suit?
I had on everything.
Oh, and they still sting you?
Listen,
he was special.
Yeah, they just.
It was a special segment.
They just had something out for me that they. Well, no. You see, when you're sweet. Exactly. When you're sweet, the bees, they just come to you.
Yes.
Right? But Shawa, since then, I have to congratulate you for how you've progressed and how you've stayed in the game. Talk a bit about what has encouraged you and motivated you to stay in the game and to progress by launching more and more products.
Well, one of the reasons we actually came into beekeeping was because we wanted to be able to eat fresh honey. Mm-hmm. That's one of the reasons. The other reasons was simply because God told me to just go learn beekeeping. But as we started, we learned there are many products that you can make from being a beekeeper, because the hive comes with so much. It's so nutritional. So we've been able to make products from wax, we've been able to make products from honey, and we've been able to keep it natural. Mm-hmm. That's what we like. I'm a farmer as well, so and so that's why we keep going. But one of the things that has happened is that I have found out that people are allergic to honey.
There are people allergic to honey.
There's some people that are allergic to honey.
Wow.
Of course, there's the great lovers of honey, and thank you so much, guys. You continue to purchase from us. We own our own honey shop. You know, it's the only honey shop in Belize. Proud to say that. We're working on our bee museum as well in Kamalote. And this is for education and for tourism.
Where's the honey shop?
It's in Kamalote.
It's also
right,
in Kamalote.
Right where you were, we've expanded and we have a honey shop. But we've outgrown that, and that's why we're doing a museum now.
Wow.
Because we're now able to purchase our bottles or stocks, you know, for future.
Farm to Perfection is an official staple of Belize when it comes to beekeeping and honey production. I will say that,
Well, praise the Lord for
right?
that.
because it is so impressive, not just the fact that you, you know, manufacture and produce honey, but it's also the amount of care that you take to educate persons on why the bees are so important for our ecosystem and so forth, which I very much commend you on. But apart from all of your wonderful products that you have accessories, you have a gift box item. You have been progressing quite quickly. Let's talk about the products that you have already in store and
what
products can be expected, yes.
Well, you say we're progressing fast, but you know, honestly, I didn't think I was. I thought I was taking my time, and I was doing that intentionally. So yes, we have the honey earrings, we have the tourist pack that Paul has in his hand. We do arnica painkiller from wax. We do shoes polish from wax, polish for your leather shoes, for your furniture as well. What else do we do? Face scrubs.
So you're really trying to find a way to use every aspect.
Yes, I don't make a product unless I can use a byproduct from the hive.
Okay.
Wow.
So
That's key to us.
what goes into this discovery process of yours? Because I'm sure you didn't just you don't wake up one day and you know.
No, I don't just know. I research a lot. I read a lot. I try my best to keep up with the international news and what's happening out there with beekeeping. But normally, if I'm in the hive, I would just wonder what can be done with propolis. I don't know. And so I will just research propolis and find out the proponents of it and how can I move on with that? That's what I've been doing.
How has business been? How is Belizeans and your customers responding?
Our customers are excellent people. We have the best customers in Belize in the entire country.
That's so great.
And working on best international customers. We're getting there.
Indeed.
So we ship out countrywide wherever people want us to, and we've done a few shipping outside internationally as well. I want to thank our customers for buying, especially the tourism pack that you have in your hand, because
quite innovative.
Yes. Some people purchase that and give it for gifts. They take it out internationally as well. And that is exactly why we've done that product, so that you're able to get a small sample from each apiary, because it gives you the taste and it gives you the color.
I also like that there is a storyline.
Yes, the Granny Bee.
Yes.
What's that?
The Granny Bee is my mother-in-law. her name is Bridget Leslie. So it just, you know, B as in Granny Bee, and I call her Granny.
And I also noticed
that's dedicated to her.
There are different shades.
Yes,
that's correct.
What's
because
that
we've taken one vial from each one of our apiary, because we are expanding. So we're expanding apiaries in different locations, so that when you purchase honey, you're not just purchasing honey, you're purchasing an experience from us. We want you to enjoy your honey. And so we want you to look at the colors, we want you to have a different taste, a different flavor. So we call that pack Belize in a bottle, because it's different parts of Belize.
It's so great.
It's so
So
creative.
what makes for the different shades? Is it
Different flowers. What they're foraging on in different areas is different trees, different locations.
so it's not just so bees don't just
Taste.
produce one particular color?
Oh no,
of
they
honey.
explore.
They explore.
Yes.
And where can we find these packages?
You can find them at Farm to Perfection in Kamalote. You can also find them in Alayas in San Pedro. You can find them at Artbox in Belmopan as well. And our other products, we do have them at DS Health Foods, right across from Civic Center. We have it at Big Bites on Barrow Road. And in Belmopan, presently, as of today, we are located in Quality Poultry in Belmopan.
As of today.
And Caribbean Chicken in Belmopan.
She got into the Mennonite market.
She's making that honey money.
She is
Thank you
making
for
that
our
honey money.
Mennonite market too, because since we went to the Industrial Expo this year for the very first time, it was a blast. I would encourage any entrepreneur to go to that. Don't worry about the cost. It is a very excellent expo.
So these are the products that you have right now, and I am very proud to say that you are launching your newest product.
That is correct.
Right here on Open Your Eyes.
Yes.
What do I have in my hand here,
You
Shala?
have mango syrup. That's our latest product. No, it has nothing to do with honey, but because we found that our customers are allergic to honey, some of them, well, you know, we want you to enjoy as well. And so we've created this product for those customers.
So this is a mango-based syrup?
It is natural. Yes, it is real mango that's in it. And when this syrup is finished, that's going to be it for till next year. Because
so it's a limited edition.
Very good. Yes, I like that phrase.
Limited edition.
And then when September comes around, we're going to do all the fruits that come out in that season, and just like that.
So where can you find this?
Well, that also is going to be in Quality Poultry today and Caribbean Chicken as of today in Belmopan.
What's
so
so fast?
I could put this on my
That
pancakes.
is $6.
Oh wow, very good.
Yes.
And I could put this on my pancakes.
Oh, absolutely.
And it tastes like mango pancakes.
Yes, and it will.
This is such an innovative idea.
Yeah.
I am so proud to say that we have such creativeness coming from our entrepreneurship in Belize. I congratulate you so much.
I mean, I've heard you've supported, you've bought earrings.
Yes.
I've bought earrings.
Yes.
This is I am an easy buy, Paul. But it's just you know, the earrings, the syrup, the tourist packages. These are all new and innovative ways that you can grow your business.
Everybody will say that it's hard in Belize, and I agree. It is hard in Belize, especially with packaging, labeling, prices of everything in our country. But one of the things we want to share with our community, we want to encourage others, we want to encourage women and men that you can be innovative. Go for it. Just start, just create. Like my tourism pack, it took me 1 year before I first made it because my vision, I couldn't find what I needed here. And I said, you know, I'm just going to do it. And as you walk the road, as I tell my children, the road will appear. So you just have to start, and everything just keeps coming.
What has been key for you over the years to get to this point?
To stay determined. To not be discouraged, because discouragement will happen.
Will it?
It will happen. It will always happen.
What has been the most discouraging moment or process for you?
Not being able to find the packages that's in my head in the country of Belize, and having to work out shipping and duty and all of those things.
For example, the little jar in the earrings.
That is correct.
Where, like, how do you even find something like that?
I didn't even know it existed.
Yeah.
And so when I started to search, and I found it. And then you have to keep searching to try to find a good price, because this thing is all over the world, so you can find different prices.
But this is $15. You know, this is a very affordable. And it's real honey in the jar with the cork. I am just fascinated by
It's also a survival tool, right? If you get lost in the jungle with that earring, you need some source.
Paul knows what it is. Paul knows what it is.
Don't worry, guys, I have an earring here.
But this is amazing. I congratulate you one more time. For our viewers, where can they find your new mango syrup?
In Camalote, Quality Poultry, in Belmopan, and also Caribbean Chicken in Belmopan. And we can ship out to you as well.
And they retail for $6.
$6, and we have the bigger package as well. So
thank you so much, Shala, for coming in. Again, congratulations.
Thank you guys.
On
Thank
your
you guys
success.
for having us.
But Paul, we gotta go.
Yeah.
We
Let's get some final thoughts from Shaw before we leave.
Okay, well, traveling to Belize City this morning was very wet. So, no, again, I just want to encourage our entrepreneurs in Belize and those that have not started. You know, we have a lot of dreams, and as innovative minds, we think that we cannot do it, and I think it's because we stretch ourselves too far. So we have to just put ourselves in a place to say, you know what, I'm just going to start. And when you start, you find that you can keep creating, and you find your way.
Beautiful.
That would be my encouragement.
Thank you so much, Shala. And of course, we want to say a big thank you to all of our other guests for coming in. And of course, thank you to our viewers for, of course, staying live right here and open your eyes with us all morning. If it is your birthday today, happy birthday. It is July 22nd. Thank you. It is July 22nd, so happy birthday to you. And if you have a birthday shout out or just a question or a comment, drop us a line right here at oie@channel5belize.com. You can also catch our live stream every day on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BC, and all of our highlights on Instagram at OYE Belize. And please do us a favor and join us again tomorrow when you open your eyes.
And start your morning right.
You should keep your eyes, your minds,
and your hearts open.
See you soon, Belize. As Miss Shala said, it's going to be a rainy day, so stay as dry as possible. Bye.
was brought to you by SMART, bringing people together, and the Belize Bank, our country, your bank.